Creative strategies for blending vintage pieces in modern homes. Incorporating vintage pieces into modern homes can add character, warmth, and a sense of history to your interior design. The juxtaposition of old and new creates a unique aesthetic that reflects personal style. Here are some effective ways to seamlessly integrate vintage elements into contemporary spaces. 1. Mix and match styles for eclectic appeal. Combining different design styles can create an eclectic look that feels intentional. Pair vintage furniture with modern accessories to achieve a balanced aesthetic. Mixing eras allows for creativity while showcasing the uniqueness of each piece. 2. Use vintage furniture as focal points. Select a standout vintage furniture item to serve as a focal point in a room. A beautifully restored mid-century sofa or an antique coffee table can draw attention and set the tone for the entire space. Surround it with complementary modern elements to create harmony. 3. Incorporate vintage accessories for subtle touches. If you prefer a more understated approach, use vintage accessories like lamps, vases, or wall art. These smaller items can add character without overwhelming your modern decor. Look for pieces that complement your color palette and design scheme. 4. Create contrast with modern lines and shapes. Contrast is key when incorporating vintage pieces into modern homes. Choose modern furniture with clean lines and sleek shapes to offset the curves or ornate details of vintage items. This balance creates a cohesive look that feels fresh and inviting. 5. Display vintage art and photographs. Incorporating vintage art or framed photographs can infuse personality into your walls. Create a gallery wall that combines vintage and contemporary art for an interesting visual dynamic. This layering of styles adds depth to your interior design. 6. Use vintage textiles for warmth and texture. Vintage textiles, such as quilts, throw pillows, or rugs, can add warmth and texture to modern spaces. Incorporate these elements to soften hard surfaces and create a cozy atmosphere. Mix vintage textiles with modern fabrics for a curated look. 7. Blend vintage lighting with modern fixtures. Vintage lighting fixtures, like chandeliers or pendant lights, can add a touch of elegance to contemporary spaces. Pair them with modern light sources to create a layered lighting scheme. This combination enhances the ambience while showcasing unique design elements. 8. Create a vintage corner or nook. Dedicate a corner of your room to display a curated collection of vintage pieces. Arrange vintage furniture, art, and decor to create a cozy reading nook or display area. This intentional space celebrates vintage charm while integrating seamlessly into your modern home. 9. Personalize with family heirlooms. Incorporate family heirlooms or sentimental vintage items to add a personal touch to your decor. These pieces tell a story and connect you to your history. Display them prominently to honor their significance while blending them into your modern aesthetic. 10. Experiment with color and finish combinations. When incorporating vintage pieces, consider experimenting with color and finish combinations. A vintage item can stand out beautifully against a modern backdrop. Use paint or finishes that harmonize with both styles for a cohesive look. By thoughtfully incorporating vintage pieces into your modern home, you can create a space that feels both unique and timeless. These strategies foster a design that reflects your personality while celebrating the beauty of vintage elements.